Just ahead on Live with Cody and Matt, the Biden administration issues a COVID vaccine mandate for 100 million workers. A gay teen in Columbia, Missouri claps back at some hateful adults upset that he was crowned homecoming queen. 25% of straight people would be, quote, uncomfortable seeing a gay coworker's wedding picture. Plus, we talk entertainment news. Britney Spears calls out her mother for the past and her conservatorship. Plus, Doug the Ugly Potato. It's the world's biggest, and he's no small fry. All that coming up on Live with Cody and Matt, starting
from
now.
the Lone Star State in Southern California, you're listening to the Coma Podcast with Cody and Matt.
And hey, everybody, and welcome to the show. We're glad you're here, as always. If you're watching this on a replay, either on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast, thank you very much. Again, we do this every Friday at 5 o'clock. And today you're like, well, that doesn't look like Matt. But everybody, I'm excited that David could join me today to replace Matt. How are you, David?
I'm good. I was going to make a joke about having some work done, and that's why I look different, but well, you called me out. I can't pretend now. I'm David.
Dang it. Chris says, hey, Chris, we are glad you're here. And of course, Keith. I know, Keith, sometime we're going to have you on as well. But yes, Matt is, surprise, surprise, everybody. If you are a regular here on the podcast, he is busy trying to become a nurse and doing all that school stuff.
Yeah.
All the fun stuff.
Been at it all week.
Goodness, it seems like he is always working on it.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, so he said that someone told him that you pretty much live, eat, and sleep nursing, and it does seem to be the case from what I've seen so far. I'm just like, are you going to not be at school one day?
It's going to become his new favorite place to be.
Wow. It's like infamous at this point.
I know, right? I mean, it's a lot of stuff to remember, memorize, learn, keep up. And going back to school, it's been a little bit of time since he was last having to be this really engaged with school. So you have to get yourself back up to that level of always doing things.
It's a lot of work mentally, and it's not easy.
But so he's busy doing that, and we give him the breaks when he needs the breaks to let him actually just eat or breathe. So he'll be joining us back again very soon, of course. I can't believe it's already November. So we'll be having our Thanksgiving shows, talking about that. Yeah, y'all all liked the Halloween episode last week, so we are glad that you liked that. Keith is like, he isn't even home. Yeah, busy. But he did check in with me a little bit earlier, and last night he actually texted me. He was like, hey, so I have to be at school, so David's going to take my place. Give David all the information and just flood him with everything. I was like, okay.
Wow. Okay, so he didn't ask me. I think it was this morning. Okay, so I'll say he may have asked me yesterday. I don't remember him asking me yesterday, but I remember him asking me today.
Well, okay, so I'll give it to him. He texted me yesterday saying that, but that sounded like you had already approved this idea, and I did not even see it till this morning, though, and I responded this morning, but we may have caught him in a little.
He probably knew I would say yes, because I always say yes to everything he asks me to do.
Well, and that's one thing that we learned. In a minute, we're going to talk about it, but we did do a episode of the regular podcast that'll come out on Wednesday next week with David and Matt. And it's kind of just like a look back at the episode that David did where we talked about asexuality. But we play a game, the Not So Newlywed game. And some of this comes up. Y'all get to see the interactions between those two. Chris says, Going back to school myself, along with a full-time job, and I totally understand, but definitely not on the same level of school that Matt is. I know. Just thinking about. I mean, I guess I did have a full-time job when I was in college. Obviously, I wasn't trying to be a nurse. I was just trying to become a TV producer, even though I actually was already a TV producer while I was going to school. So that was kind of always an awkward situation. Uh, I was telling Matt one time when I was in school, so it's professors teaching me how to do television production or whatever. And it's like, this just does not make sense. Like, I literally am producing the newscast that goes out to the entire city that you watch, but you're teaching me here now this morning how to do it. It's like, I already know how to do it. You actually haven't
Yeah.
even taught, you actually haven't even done it. You've only taught it. You actually haven't been in TV. And it's like some of this stuff, it would be always like, well, that's not actually how we do it. But okay, go ahead and teach everybody that. And then when they come, I'll retrain them. But it was always like a crazy thing. But I had a weird schedule. I think some of you have heard this before. Like, I would go in the morning at 3 a.m. I would leave at 7 or 8 a.m. I would go home, eat breakfast, go to sleep, then get back up about 1 or 2, go to work, and I would stay at work until 6 or 7, go home, eat dinner, and then be back up again at 3 a.m. It wasn't a very fun schedule
That sounds
existence.
awful.
I survived it 10 years. 10 years.
Proud of you.
Keith says, I just found out that David was going to be on about 15 minutes before airtime.
That is not true, Keith. I told you 30 minutes before airtime.
Uh-oh. There's a discrepancy here, Keith.
So many lies here.
And then Chris says, to Keith, same. I saw the live stream title and I low-key got excited. I'm telling you, everybody, y'all always get excited for David content. And Keith says nope. Keith says he's sticking to the 15 minutes before airtime is when you you said you would be on. Well, at least he told you, I guess. At least he told you.
Yeah, that's fair. I probably imagined
it. Earlier, or Monday, I guess it was. I went to, last week, I told everybody that I got my flu shot on Friday. But then on Monday, I went and got the COVID booster shot. And so, again, I would recommend everybody who is up for the booster or is able to get the booster shot. If you have Johnson & Johnson, go get the booster shot. But the second shot hit me hard. I had chills and everything. This booster shot, it knocked me out. It was worse than the second one. I had chills. I had sinus pressure, headaches, aches, nausea. I had to stay in bed basically all the next day. And then it was Wednesday. Wednesday, I was having hot flashes. I was like, goodness gracious.
my God.
But despite all of that, I'm glad that I got the COVID booster shot. Now I don't have to worry as much, especially since I may be coming to Texas to visit family and everything, and maybe hopefully see y'all. But I was telling Matt, you need the booster shot to come to Texas because Texas is Texas, kind of like Florida's Florida.
Well, I mean, if you put a hazmat suit on and you come to Texas, you might be okay. Maybe.
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 Yeah, I was looking at numbers. At least they're going down a little bit. But I'm glad I got that. Let's see. Keith says, we love Cody and Matt, but David makes for a nice change. And I was, to get the booster too, curious to hear about it. Yikes, know what I'm wanting to hear. Okay, so I should say, Justin also got it, and my friend Gabe also got it. And Justin only had a slight headache, brief amount of nausea, but not extreme, and then it was gone, and then he was pretty much fine. My friend Gabe, he may have had a slight headache or aches, but then that could have just been normal. So no reactions really from them. So 2 out of 3, really just nothing. So I think everyone will be okay. And
Just
then
get
Chris
it.
says, I know. You just got to get it. And Chris says, I got a call to get a booster, but with my fear of needles, I'm like, not yet. Um,
You should be more afraid of COVID than a needle. Just putting that out there.
This is very true. This is very true. Chris, we'll send all the good vibes to get that booster shot. Yeah, I'm not saying that you should do this, but there's all these people on TikTok I see, and I don't know why they would do this because I would never do it if it was me. But they're filming themselves. They're having someone, their mom or someone, uh, and these actually are people that look like our age. They're like not like teenagers, but they're having what seems to be their mom videoing them getting the vaccine, but they're scared of needles and they're like squirming around for like 2 minutes. And it's like, well, I don't really understand what the point of you posting this is, other than, yeah, you got the shot and you're wanting other people to get the shot. But why are you showing people? And also, I'm just like, they're like moving around. I'm just afraid when the nurse or whatever is going to like inject them, they're just going to move their arm, and
Yeah,
which is going to make it worse. Which is going to make it worse.
exactly.
So, Chris, we'll send you all the good vibes to get the booster shot, because then you'll also be relieved that you have the booster shot, and you won't have to worry. And you also say, Chris, stop hitting on Florida. I live here.
We can't help that Florida sucks. Everyone knows it.
I
Chris, I
mean,
would
it's
say
just
just take a shot before going. Like a little or a bottle, whatever. Just don't look visibly drunk, and you'll probably be fine. Plus, alcohol intensifies the effects of medicine, so technically, this is that medical, legal stuff, but unofficially, it could make it even better. You don't know. I mean, who knows?
who knows? Maybe that's what happened with me.
Right.
Uh, yeah, Florida. I mean, Florida is the worst. Now Texas. Texas wasn't always number 2, but now Texas is just like, what is going on? So, Chris, it's not just y'all. I have tons of friends in Florida and then family and friends in Texas. So, like, the 2 places that I would visit or travel to the most are just like dumpster fires right now. Um, Chris says, Chris and Cody, you both should come to Texas for a visit. I know. I'm trying to, but now the whole issue is, the airlines keep just delaying and canceling flights. So then it's like, ugh, I don't want to get stuck somewhere.
No, we
Um,
don't.
and then Chris, you do say, I would love to come to Texas and visit. I'll be driving for sure because I hate flying. Also, I can't win. LOL. Okay, Chris, we need to get you some cannabis gummies
Some Xannies. Put it in your
and
Pinot Grigio and should take it on the plane. You'll be fine.
uh, you will be set. Uh, it's well, also we talked about haunted houses. You could also do both of those things for haunted houses, and that would be exciting. Yeah, the drive is long. I remember when I moved out to California, it was like, oh well, this is a long drive. I don't really want to take it back. Um, but then it's like flying is this whole deal because, I can either fly from here to Dallas is pretty easy on American, but then if I want to go directly to my town, I have to take a regional jet, and then those always get delayed or canceled or messed up because they're like, oh, 70 people, who cares? Uh, so it is kind of an ordeal to get back home to where my family is. Uh, Chris says, I wish I could do gummies, but because of work, that's a no go. That's right. We mentioned this prior, and you mentioned that you couldn't because of work. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that the Democrats should go ahead and legalize it, but they currently can't do anything right now. So I don't want to add anything else to their plate. But Yeah, it should be legalized. Everyone knows I'm a pro cannabis.
What?
What?
Oh my. Ugh.
I mean,
Years.
it's
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
it used to be so taboo, and now like everybody's like, yeah. I mean, mostly I guess because people are all high and everything. I,
I don't know if it's that. I think people just they shouldn't care, and I think they don't care.
well, and you look at the base of the reason it was made illegal to begin with was just like this ridiculous made up farce.
Ugh.
But as we see that a lot of people make up things and they're real. I actually just read something today that this teacher was caught. I don't know what state she was from, but this teacher was caught teaching her students that Donald Trump was still president and to not get the COVID vaccine.
Was it like in Alabama or one of those places where God doesn't really look?
you know, I, I have to look this up real quick because I can't remember. I want to know the state where the teacher uh, that Donald Trump was still
I,
president.
I
Like
don't know if
that's
I
a
want to even give that energy. Like speak it into existence. Is what I feel like. Like
let's see.
wash my hands
Oh,
with.
the whole thing. A middle school teacher, history teacher, that is, not just a teacher. She was a history teacher. She was fired, or she's under fire. She's not fired yet, I guess. She's under fire for a lesson that included saying that Donald Trump is still president, that President Joe Biden's son had sex with his own niece, and that hospitals are stealing unvaccinated parents' children. So, oh no, she's from California. There are areas of California that seem a little bit shocking.
Uh,
Um, as the
hmm.
well, I think I pulled it up once. I showed Matt. There was a regional map of where in the recall election recently with Governor Gavin Newsom here, uh, the places that voted not to recall him were the places where COVID was the lowest. The places that wanted to recall him were where COVID was spiking out of control, and then they also correlated to vaccinated, unvaccinated. So that was interesting.
What a shock.
Keith says, Chris, as I said much earlier on, I was a flight attendant and never had any issues. I probably flew more times in 1 month than most people do in a lifetime. That's I At one point I thought about being a flight attendant, but then I was like,
Hmm.
I'm leaving. Why would I leave TV where I had ridiculous hours to become a flight attendant and have ridiculous hours? Yeah, no.
No,
And
that's
then you got to
okay.
deal with people
Yeah,
and
and I like the worst people too, because no one on a plane is happy about it unless you're in first class, which most people aren't. So you're miserable and in a pissy mood, and you're inevitably sitting beside someone who smells bad or won't shut the fuck up or something like that, and it puts everyone in a bad mood, and so it makes everyone's life even worse. Especially
yeah,
now with COVID, where everyone is just like 1 second from sparking off and like acting a damn fool. Nah.
yeah, it's been so ridiculous. Chris does say, I can fly if I'm with someone I know to keep my mind off everything, but just the whole waiting around, letting my anxiety get the best of me is what gets me. Yeah, I used to fly a lot. I used to fly before I moved to California. I would fly like once a month to one or two places, and I was pretty good. I get more anxious mainly because of the whole like me going back home and the regional jet issue, and then trying to get back to work if something got delayed or canceled. And I'm only relying on that small, tiny plane and the schedule. And it was like, and then there's layovers and trying to get in. It was like, oh, that's a lot. And then Keith does say he loves his Martha Stewart gummies. Martha Stewart,
Yeah, he
yes.
does.
Yeah, I should have pulled it. I forgot about it until you mentioned Martha Stewart. But there's a video of Martha Stewart like recently, and people have turned it into gifs, where she's like on a riding lawnmower, but she's like bouncing on the lawnmower, and people have made, I guess, some inappropriate
Oh
jokes
no.
about
Oh
that.
no. I know. The internet always delivers in
You know,
always the
because
worst ways.
she's on a riding lawnmower.
I
So
can only imagine. You know what? I don't want to imagine because I don't want to imagine Martha Stewart in any kind of way like
uh,
that.
okay. Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up.
Oh no. I'm gonna be
uh,
traumatized.
let's see. Here we are. So this is her, on her little lawnmower. Oh, bring it back down.
She knew what she was doing.
Let's see what she says. She just got her new Kubota 360 lawnmower, and then goes on to talk about it. Yeah, she knew what she was doing.
Now, I know in my heart that she probably has undocumented migrant workers doing her lawn, and that she probably does those things with them. So I just feel like, why, Martha? Why? Like he said in the comments, why?
Uh, she probably had a few gummies before getting on, and she
She
was
had
just like,
something,
"What's
or
going on?"
she was letting someone know that she needed something. I guess.
I mean, I guess that's one way to do it. Um, but to kind of wrap up this little bit, we're talking about the booster shot. Begin with, and do recommend everybody who's eligible to go ahead and get it. And pretty much, I would say almost everybody is eligible. I do know that they just added some like mental health issues, so like bipolar and people who have depression or who are depressed. So I think that's pretty much everybody as far as depression is concerned. And then obviously, if you work in any public facing industry, you're basically almost available. But all of this does come right as the Biden administration is going to mandate 100 million workers to get the COVID vaccine. And that will begin on January 4th. And so, oh goodness, what is going on here? So, yeah. But as we mentioned a little bit ago, next week we are going to have an episode with David and Matt, and we play the not so newlywed game. Hopefully this plays. Everything's acting up, but let's see. Okay, who initiated? Well, we'll see.
Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay, so the newlywed game. We played the not so newlywed game between David and Matt, and it was pretty funny. This is a short little clip of what you're going to get to experience next week. And then we do talk about the episode a little bit. But it was really funny just getting to listen to some of these things. And basically the concept, the idea is I'll say like, who is the first person to decide to kiss. And they each have to point who they think is, if it was them or the other one. And this is what happened. Created the first kiss.
It's probably me.
I think
And me, probably. I don't know, actually.
he was when he was interested in me.
What? You were so thin back then.
I was so skinny. Oh my god.
Actually, we really were like massively underweight, but
Okay, who apologizes first after a fight? Who's the funny one?
I would say you. You're really funny. You're really
Yeah.
you're really funny.
And I'm not even that funny.
I think you're funny.
Who's more romantic?
Oh,
yeah.
Me, but I pointed at the ceiling.
Who's more patient?
Me.
Goodness, see y'all are doing good so far. Who's the better cook?
That's not even fair.
Yeah. Hands down.
Who said I love you first?
I think me. I don't know. So we were friends for like 4 or 5 years prior, and we always just had a good relationship. So it kind of.
Probably you.
Probably
since
me.
You initiated the whole.
Yeah, that
thing.
sounds right. Yeah, I initiated everything, so it was probably me. I would say probably. I would vote me.
So you can see more of that next Wednesday. Video version on YouTube, audio version wherever you get your podcast. But that was a fun little game, a fun little interaction between you two.
It was, yeah. It was actually, I no one like watch shows like that on TV and you see the couples like I guess because you want the drama of it because
Yeah.
couple they don't mesh and then like when we did it, it was almost always we were almost
I
always
know.
symbiotic.
Yeah, I asked him like I don't know, like 20 or 30 questions. I can't remember. But they pretty much got every one of them right. So like despite I mean, I guess that actually is being friends for so long and then getting married and everything. You should know each other well. And if you don't, there is a problem.
Yeah,
But guess what, everybody? The reason why is, as we always say, it seems, communication. It's all. It's so easy. But it's a fun episode. So everyone can check that out. Keith, you said that you saw a Bic lighter with an ad with Martha and Snoop. Martha said it is perfect for lighting candles, and Snoop and other things.
oh my God, Cody, do you remember when she got arrested for insider trading and there was a memes going around for the longest time of her and Snoop in a picture and said one of these persons is a convicted felon and the other one is Snoop Dogg. And because normally the
Uh-huh.
the thing is black people go to jail more often at a disproportionate rate, but it was just funny. It was very funny.
Yeah, it was. She's like a hardened criminal now.
Yeah,
I
didn't
did.
she have like a whole special like spa room or something? I don't even remember. I didn't know that the thing was like her prison was basically like a resort for rich people or something like that. I don't even
Yeah,
remember.
I feel like I saw this like made for TV movie about it one time. I mean, I feel like I don't even remember how old I was. I was old enough to know who she was and really loved her and like watched her shows a little bit, like when I was homesick or something, it would be on the TV in the mornings. And but I remember watching this made for TV movie, and I always remember this in my head for some reason concerning Martha Stewart. And this part of the movie was that she like made like origami birds and origami things with her fellow inmates, and she taught them how to do it. And then I
No.
think knitting and yeah, I was like,
Oh my God. There was
I
I think Saturday Night Live or Mad TV or one of those like sites did a skit about her making stuff out of like cigarettes and stuff like that in jail, and it was so funny.
I actually think her going to prison made her more popular, especially with younger people, because it's just something that also made her more down to earth. I think she doesn't take herself serious anymore, as we just saw there on her riding lawnmower. The pre-prison Martha would never have done that. Post-prison, she's like, let's
She's looking
play.
up.
So in Columbia, Missouri, there was this teen who was running for homecoming queen. We've seen this before across the country in different areas, usually liberal areas, and the guy gets voted in as homecoming queen. Well, in Columbia, Missouri, which is very conservative, he actually won. And of course, you had the normal detractors coming on board and everyone, trying to hate against him. And then he like clapped back on TikTok with this particular statement.
Before I start this video, let me just put on my crown that I won fair and square because homecoming is quite literally a popularity contest. A lot of your guys' main points in the video of me winning was that I was stealing some little girl's dream, quote unquote. It was some little boy's dream too, and that little boy was me. You guys are hiding your hatred and homophobia in a thick layer of fake empathy. I'm still friends with all the candidates who I ran for homecoming royalty, which for the record, there are boys and girls both running. There could only be one winner. It could have been a straight girl, it could have been a straight guy. It happened to be me, which is fine. The problem is you guys commenting hate under my video and your inability to let things change. People were happy for me. You guys weren't because of your fixed mindset. Now that that's settled, let's move on, okay? To why I decided to be called a queen instead of a king when they asked me for homecoming royalty. Quite honestly, it was an Instagram poll. I was like, should I be called a queen or a king? And everyone was like, queen would look so much prettier on the sash. I was like, you guys are so right. So that's what I did. Why did I decide to wear a dress? I felt pretty in a dress. Gold is my color. We love it. Anyways, thank you guys for all the support under that video and the support for me in general. I really do appreciate it. And for all the haters on my page, thank you guys so much for boosting my video. Because of you guys, I have an interview with NBC. We love, love, love it. I'll see you guys on TV. Kiss, kiss. I love you guys so much.
Bravo.
I love it. I think that's the thing that I mean, both sides don't realize this, but when you like hate on someone, you end up boosting that particular video or whatever it may be,
Right.
and it gets more attention. And they basically made him popular. Like I always argue that Lil Nas X would not be as popular as he is if it wasn't for all of these right-wing crazy people hating on him and always bringing him into the news cycle, because then he gets into the everyday news cycle, and then people are like, who's that Lil Nas X? And then they go check him out, and then they're like, oh, well, we like him.
That's what they say. Any publicity is good publicity because it gets you out there, regardless of if it's negative or positive. Because even if you think it's negative, someone else is going to love it, and they sure did.
They did. I love it. And that he wasn't afraid to be who he was. And that despite growing up in a pretty conservative area, that he was nominated and won Homecoming Queen, as he said he wanted to be Homecoming Queen. And I also would choose gold because, yeah, I think you have to choose
it's
gold.
royalty now. You got to.
Right.
Right?
That's going to live on with him. He's going to love that forever. He'll have his crown on the shelf. And yeah, I feel like it's all these beauty queens or homecoming queens. They keep that crown, and they're like grown adults with kids, and then they still have that crown usually on the shelf. Something that isn't too great. That obviously was great, but a new study came out. Not really a study, but a survey, I guess, asking people about LGBTQ issues. People, and they do this every year to gauge, is it going up or is it going down? It seems like as far as acceptance of LGBTQ people, it's remained about the same, which is pretty high. But I thought this one was a little bit crazy in that 25% of straight people say they would be uncomfortable seeing a gay coworker's wedding picture. They also would be uncomfortable in situations involving LGBTQ people in their church. They would be uncomfortable having an LGBTQ doctor, and they also would be uncomfortable seeing them holding hands. But I was a little shocked that the 25% of people would be uncomfortable seeing a gay coworker's wedding picture. Because like what? Like I guess like why is it's not hurting you at all? Like it's not even really being shoved in your face. It's on their desk. You're in their area. Like
I mean, it just always kind of boils down to people just are always going to be afraid of what they don't understand. And at the core of it, I don't think a lot of straight people understand, you know, why people are LGBT in the first place. That a lot of people still think is a choice, even of the numerous studies that do not support that point of view. And people are also raised to believe that, so no matter what the facts say, I mean, you got to consider that Christianity is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, religion in the world, and it's definitely prevalent more so in America. I mean, that's probably the majority of the Christian population. I mean, that's what, like 80 million people about, roundabout?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be shocking that it was more religious based because, I mean, they've been indoctrinated their whole lives into this. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think if you look at the survey as far as, some of those other numbers, you know, that a majority still accept LGBTQ people, and we've seen that increase over the decades to where it is now. And there's pretty much wide mainstream support for like gay marriage and everything like that, where there used to not be. So despite some of these Christian conservatives, there's still at least some who are like, oh yeah, but we still let people be themselves. And then you do though have that group that are just not going to accept it at all. As we saw that teacher teaching students that liberals are kidnapping kids, or hospitals are if they're unvaccinated, and that Donald Trump is still president. Those are the type of people who are obviously in this 25%. I don't know if you heard this weekend in Dallas, or this week. I don't know this week in Dallas, in Dealey Plaza, where John F. Kennedy was shot and killed. The
Oh no.
QAnon people, um, who are absolutely crazy. When I heard this, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, these people are actually crazy. So the QAnon people, there was like hundreds and hundreds gathered in this whole area in the grassy knoll and all along the street, and they were waiting there all day because they were told, or they believe, that Q told them that John F. Kennedy Jr., John F. Kennedy's son, who died in a plane crash, was going to come back, and he was going to appear in the area where his father died. And at that point, it was going to be the beginning of the new Trump campaign, because John F. Kennedy Jr. was going to become the running mate with Donald Trump. Surprise,
People will
surprise.
believe what they want, always.
Surprise, surprise. He didn't show up.
What? Wow. Oh my god.
Okay, but then the whoever the leaders were here at the time in the area, they were then told by Q. I don't know where they're getting this information, but they were told by Q he was delayed. He will now appear at the Rolling Stones concert happening also that night in Dallas, and other celebrities will appear with him, like Debbie Reynolds, Michael Jackson, and like a few others.
I mean, QAnon is usually pretty, crap already. You're only getting like 1% of truth with 99% bullcrap. But I mean, did they do shrooms or something before they did these posts? Because I mean, these are factually capable of being disproven. Like usually when you lie, it's in a way that people will still believe you afterwards. And I mean, I guess they still will believe them afterwards. This is kind of
Yeah.
like, you remember the constant like, oh, the world's going to end in 2008 or 2000. This
Yep.
is that all over again. Like, oh, we're
It's
just going to keep
exactly
telling people back further and further.
it's exactly that. I was actually thinking that just now, where it's like, oh, with the world didn't end. Well, actually, we got our numbers mixed up. It's actually we have to go 10 more years. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So again, everybody, he did not show up at the concert, and there is no other celebrities that showed up. Although some of the people that were there say that Keith Richards, I believe, who's part of the Rolling Stones, may have been John F. Kennedy Jr., but they're not sure.
Of course.
So, you know, let's see. There's a lot going on. Chris says, okay, that's where I can see Florida has a problem with it. I'm so lucky to have the team I work with who accept me, but 90% of the people on the base don't want anything to do with me being gay. Yeah, I mean, I do think you do see areas, industry, that might be more accepting or not accepting. And a lot of that at times is to do with education and how someone's educated. And then obviously, as David said, the area that you're brought up in, if it's very religious, or there's other things that dictate that. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I do at least we have seen change over the years, and especially in recent time, there's been a big surge of support. And now it's more, as far as people who are gay or lesbian, have it, I guess we'll say, pretty easy. Obviously, there's still stuff that has to be done, but trans people are really the ones that we have to fight for and be there for. And people in the LGBTQ community need to stand up, because we have seen a big assault from state legislatures and national government, or not necessarily the national government, but state legislatures against LGBTQ individuals. Chris also says, and of course, Florida is all over the Q crap and the Trump flags on their trucks. Yeah. And he also says, and I'm over the people putting Biden stickers on the gas pump prices, saying I did that. Oh, I've not seen that. I've not heard of that. That's crazy.
People are just, I'm gonna have a migraine from this, I think, because people really do believe this stuff, and it's like, I understand that everyone is an economy expert, but you really think that's what happened?
Yeah,
Not the fact
I
that
mean,
supply chains have been crap for like over like a year and a half, 2 years now because of COVID-19 that happened while Donald Trump was president, and only went as bad as it did because of his poor response to it. Nothing, not related at all. No, no, of course
no,
not. Makes sense.
it's all Biden. It's all
I feel
Biden.
like he probably went with big pharma and was trying to kill Christmas too or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Christmas is. I was watching Jimmy Kimmel. He does this thing once a week where he'll do like this week in COVID history, and so he started it like earlier this year, and he would go back and get clips from that particular week as far as what was happening with COVID and the Trump administration. And hearing some of that stuff is like, we were living in a crazy world. But now the one that he recently did, it was about election time, because the elections were like a week away. And there was a Trump at a campaign stop was like, yeah, if you do this, Christmas is no more. Biden is going to get rid of Christmas. And I was like,
The Catholic is going to get rid of Christmas.
I was like, okay, sure. But apparently people believe it. But again, everybody, we
There's
did still
always
have
someone.
Christmas. And we're still going to have Christmas. It's never went away. If anything, there's more Christmas than there ever was before. So, yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that none of the local municipalities or anything like that haven't been sued for religious discrimination for only putting up Christmas decorations. Because you see those every year, but I mean, we're not a Christian nation, we're a religious freedom nation. So
Mhm.
I would personally support that because I don't, even though I like Christmas lights and I celebrate Christmas, even though it's a commercial holiday that shouldn't even exist in the first place, that's a whole separate argument. They should also be considered of like 3 or 4 or 5 other different holidays also in that same time period that a majority of people also celebrate. Like Hanukkah comes to mind, especially in New York. I mean, there's a very large Jewish population up there, and I mean, no one talks about that. It's kind of funny to me.
Yeah, actually, you bring that up. I was in New York City. My very first time ever going to New York City. I always wanted to go at Christmas because I was like, to see the Rockefeller Christmas
So
tree,
nice.
ice skate. I hope it snows. It didn't. Uh, although I have been in New York when it snowed and it is slushy. I'll tell that story later. But yeah, so I was there for Christmas, and we were not Christmas, but in December, and so we happened to be there, not planned. The first night they were going to light the first light on the menorah, and so I was like, "Oh, let's just go see that. That would be fun to experience and be there and see it happen in New York City." I guess what they're saying is the biggest menorah. I don't know. It wasn't. It was big, but it wasn't that big. But it was probably like in New York or something. I don't know. And they had the guy, I don't know the names, but a rabbi probably gonna light the menorah. So he's on a cherry picker because it is tall.
Oh no.
It's it's not. He has to control it, and he's having a hard time getting it up there. And then he like gets there, and then like I see it, but I don't know if everybody sees it. He somehow gets like it lipped up on top of like some metal, the
Oh.
edge. He lights the menorah, and then he starts trying to go down, and then the menorah like starts shaking, and then there's this whole like 5-minute dance of him trying to get it undone, and it's just like, oh my god.
So God
He
was not with
luckily
him that day.
he luckily did get away from the whole situation, and the menorah stayed lit. So that was always. I think I actually have it videoed because it was just like, oh wow, okay. I hope this just ends well because it could end really bad. And Chris, yeah, I don't understand those. Even before, during the election period, people having the huge flags waving on their trucks, and like, even if I support someone, I don't want all this stuff all over my vehicles, or like all these supporters have it all over their Facebook page and that's all they post about and that's all their profile photos. I was like, I don't want someone, I don't want to be so obsessed with somebody that that's literally all my life is. And that really is these hardcore people. And it's really sad. Yeah, I feel like you need something. You don't do this because it's defacing property, but I feel like someone needs to do something to put over these "I did that" stickers, and maybe like Trump's face, like a Trump sticker face, and just put that before "I did that," and it's Trump. I did that. Okay, so there.
I'm probably no stickers like that,
There is some entertainment news happening. This week and today, I guess, The Eternals, the latest Marvel movie, has come out. And it's apparently doing really well overseas, internationally. It's made over $20 million. It's outpacing Shang-Chi and Black Widow at the international box office. I've heard a few people I know who've already seen it. They saw it last night at the premieres. And they say it's different. They like it, but it's different. And obviously it's a way different feel than the previous films because there's not any like a lot of super hardcore battle scenes like there are in the previous Marvel movies. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Obviously, we want it to be a success. This one, I think, for me anyway, because you have a woman who directed it, and so you want something to be successful because people have a tendency in Hollywood not to continue allowing women to be successful if their movie doesn't do well. And also in this movie, I've not seen it, so I don't want to go too crazy on this, but Disney, apparently there is a gay character in the film, and there is a gay kiss in the film. I don't want to say gay kiss, but two guys kiss. And so that would be a first for a Disney film, I believe. So that's another reason for a wanted success. Also, I believe there's someone in the film who does sign language, so it's a very good film that is very the cast is pretty international and diverse. So it's you obviously have a lot of fanboys who are hating on it because of that. No surprise.
Oh my God, I know. I get it because I'm like a stickler for how it is. Like when I saw the Harry Potter movies, I was so mad because I was this isn't like the books. Arr! But at the same time, you're never going to get that experience recreated word for word. That's just not how movies work. That's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
here we are. But I mean, at the same time, you think someone would be happy that we've got a little bit more diversification. It's not just like straight white people, but then it's usually straight white people who are mad. It's like the people who get mad. I think when the Resident Evil 3 came out, it was Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3. It was remade, and a lot of people were mad because the main character's tits were smaller.
Oh my god.
Like,
What? Isn't it
yeah,
like they were fans of Space Jam were mad because I don't know the character, but the bunny, the girl bunny, had no
Dad,
boobs. I think
guys,
yeah, I think so. She
I,
didn't have boobs in the new one,
of course.
and they were like, it's a
How
cartoon.
can you
That's a
talk
little.
about big old double D knockers?
It's like what? Uh, so yeah, apparently Disney. There's a few countries and maybe China, I think, who's like, we don't want this film being shown in this country because of the kiss between the two guys. And apparently Disney is not going to cut that out. In the past, sometimes they'll edit parts out to let the film go on, but apparently they are going to stay with it. A lot of that has to do with Kevin Feige, who's head of Marvel. He's very a good stickler for doing this. He's the one who really championed doing Black Panther when a lot of executives were like, "Oh, a movie with all black actors is not going to do good." Well, turned out to be wrong, but
Yeah, that movie was
so
really good, actually. I love Black Panther.
it is. I love it so much. Um, everyone's favorite Dolly Parton, and she's going to be joining the last and final season of Grace and Frankie. Of course, Dolly Parton, along with Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda, who are in that TV show on Netflix, obviously were very popular because of the movie 9 to 5. And everybody is wanting them to be joined back up to do something together. And so after 6 seasons, Dolly will join them for the 7th season. No word on how many episodes, but at least they'll get to be together again, which I always think is fun. And I do love Dolly so much. And of
She's
course,
a real
everybody,
ally.
she is one of the reasons the Moderna shot's around, the Dolly shot. And this one was pretty crazy. It has now been deleted, but Britney Spears over this week posted this on her Instagram page. She basically was talking about her mother. Lynn Spears was asking that her daughter Britney Spears' estate pay roughly $650,000 for legal fees, which her attorneys say were incurred fighting the conservatorship. But hours later, Britney slammed her mother in an Instagram post, saying that the legal arrangement was her idea in the first place. In the now deleted Instagram caption, saying that while her dad is the one who created the conservatorship in early 2008, it was actually her mother who, quote, gave him the idea. Britney Spears goes on to say, I will never get those years back. She secretly ruined my life. And yes, I will call her and Lou Taylor, who was her manager, out on it. So you take the whole I have no idea what's going on attitude and go fuck yourself, she said.
Yeah.
So I love it. She's calling out her mother. She's called out her sister. She's called out her father. She's just calling out all her family who, sadly, it's a sad situation, have done this to her, and she's been a part of this since 2008. She can't get those years back, like she's saying, and it's just a sad situation that it was all about money, really, probably.
Yeah, it basically used her like an ATM machine for 12 years and locked her up in the interim so that she would just shut up and go away, and so they could spend her money that she earned herself with no help from them. It's really disgusting what family will do for money that they haven't earned.
Yeah.
What the people would feel entitled to. It's really it's disgusting, like I said.
Yeah. Luckily, maybe something positive will come about this. I believe in California, there's going to be some conservatorship changes, and the legislature is looking at some changes that can occur to not allow something to happen like in this case, to allow some safeguards to be put in place to prevent this. Of course, you have other celebrity actors who also are under these types of conservatorships. And, they a lot of times don't have any way to get out of them because, again, they're being held hostage for their
I
money.
think like, the worst part about it is this is very tragic for Britney. I'm not disagreeing with that in any way, but you got to think about the thousands of people a year and how many years conservatorship has been a law that have been ruined because of something like this, where they had their full mental faculties and were able to take care of themselves, and another relative or what have you decided that they were just going to like screw the system or what have you and totally destroy their life for that person's benefit. And it's just really just shows you the ugly side of humanity.
Yeah. There's this movie, I can't even think of the name of the movie, but it's, I guess they are loosely basing it on things that may happen or have happened. And the basic premise is there's like old people who don't have friends or don't have a lot of friends and don't have family, but they have property, um, that this woman who basically took care of old people, she would come in, and she had a friend who was a doctor. The doctor would write a note saying that this person wasn't mentally capable, and of course they had no friends or family. And then they would be taken away and put into like a facility, and then the lady would sell all their possessions and all of their properties, and then gather that money, and then just continue that on, just taking money from old people and then putting them away. And I can see how that could totally happen, because if you don't have friends or you don't have family, and then someone's buddy buddy with a judge or a doctor, it could easily happen. So yeah, all of that whole situation. Hopefully, someone will continue looking at that, because it does need to have some checks and balances in place. And I don't think it can just be held up, by a judge, because this one judge has continued to rule on her case all these years and saw no issue. I think that she also should have seen something was up. But
I think
you know,
it's
that's
part of the problem is the judge has to follow the confines of the law, so it's not really like whether or not
yeah,
they think something is up is irrelevant to the facts of the case, So it's like I don't know that this is true, but it's
yeah,
possible that it could have just been between a rock and a hard place, between a moral dilemma and a legal dilemma, and she has to be
yeah.
dispassionate. And I don't know.
That, yeah,
It's
that's totally true. And as we come to a close, everybody, some a little crazy news, but this was a potato that was found in someone's backyard. Doug, the ugly potato, it could be the world's biggest. The couple lugged it into their garage and put it on some scales. It weighed in at 17.4 pounds. Uh, that's equal to a couple of sacks of regular potatoes or a small dog. Um, and you know,
A lot
they
of
said
pressure.
they don't. They say they don't remember planting it, and that maybe it had been there for like a year or two, but they said it started like obviously as a potato, it started losing some of its weight and getting a little bit wrinkly and moldy. So they cleaned it up, and it's currently in the freezer, and they're trying to get it to become Guinness World Record, so it can be officially the world's biggest potato. And so they're waiting on Guinness to respond back to them. I mean, Guinness is a whole scam in itself, because basically anybody can get a world record. All you got to do is pay them. So I feel like one day I need to come up with something and be like, what is going to be my world record, and how much do I have to pay you? Well, everybody, it has been a great time. Crazy enough, it's already been an hour.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
Time flies, everybody. We know that you all have enjoyed the show here. David has been here. Y'all have enjoyed that. Chris, let's see, what do you say? People have dog-sized potatoes growing in the yard, and I can hardly get grass to grow. That's true. That's true. Some people struggle to get things growing, and then other people just have
I've been trying to get
random
my whole
huge.
yard to die for like a whole 3 years, so I don't have to mow it anymore. But it won't. It just won't die. I don't know why.
Keith, you need to help them out with that. Kill the yard. Don't forget, we get this hour back over the weekend. Oh my God, yes.
I
Uh,
know. I'm so
time
excited.
changes. Time changes, everybody. We get an extra hour. So be sure not to wake up too early, because that would be bad. Although, probably for me and Justin, Ella's going to be like, oh, this is my normal time. Hello, wake up. I need food. And
Yeah, I
so,
was just gonna say Luna wakes me up every day between 4:30 and 6 a.m. for food. Every day. So
see,
I'm
you're going
probably
to be
not
up.
gonna probably.
Like, so I and lucky because Justin will he goes to work early because he works East Coast hours. And so he'll get up, get ready, and then feed Ella and feed Salem and whatever. And then Ella will come back to bed with me. But occasionally she gets very moody and wants the food now. So he'll be in the showering, and then she will come to the bed and start clawing my head. And then if she's on my face, she'll be gentle and like gently tap my face. But she will just not stop. And I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. You're both in there. I can't give you food. I can't give it to you on the carpet. You're going to have to wait. And she's like, nope, I want the food now. That happened last night, actually, or this morning. I was like, girl, I'm not getting up. Go whine somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm like, eat the other cat. There's 2 cats in this house. Eat one of them.
I mean, they have to be tasty, right? You'll eventually.
Right. I mean, they've got a lot of meat on their bones now.
I mean, Salem is like all meat, so she would have a feast.
Right. I mean, have the chicken fried rice. It's fine. I mean, cat. Sorry. Excuse me.
Chris says, it's been a great episode. We need more David. Keith says, I agree. More David.
Rain and I'll be here. I'm just kidding. I don't mind. It's
fine. So yes, thank you, David, for joining us for this episode. Y'all, he'll be back. You know, Matt is still going to be doing some school, so you never know when he's going to just show up. It'll be another surprise. Keith, he'll let you know probably 5 minutes before that he's going to be live. But yeah, we'll hopefully let everybody know ahead of time so you can plan, since y'all would probably like schedule this out that you want to be here to see David. But again, thank all of you for joining us. Again, if you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube or on your podcast apps, you can switch it. You can either watch us or listen to us if you're doing one or the other. We're available. Just go search us on YouTube. You can find all the episodes, because all the episodes we do are video versions, and then audio is available on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. The list goes on and on. You pretty much can find it wherever you want to listen to this. Keith, let's see. Keith, where is Salem actually? So now that I'm in this room doing the show, Salem is not in here. I used to do it in the room where Salem like hung out and stayed, and he doesn't stay in here anymore. Although maybe one day I'll bring him in here and show him off. He usually just will lay in this bed. I'll have to put like a Salem cam up one day. And yeah, he hasn't been here in a while. But I'll bring you out one day. I'll bring Ella one day, and I'll bring Salem one day. Keith, it's okay.
Did you just finger his cat?
Oh. He said she hasn't walked across the screen lately. Could be problematic. No. Sometimes I like call him Queen. Sometimes I get their names mixed up because I don't know which cat is right in front of me. But yeah. So everybody, we hope you have a great weekend. Again, time change. You get the extra hour of sleep. New episode on Wednesday with David and Matt. The not newlywed game, and we'll be back here live again Friday at 5:00 for another live show. But until next Friday when we're live again, I will hope all of you have a great weekend, and thank you again, David. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Don't do anything I would do.